Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, August 18th, 2025. And this is the Board of Selectmen's meeting along with the Board of Public Works. And so we are available on channel 192 on Spectrum, on YouTube, and on Zoom. So we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need to approve the Treasury warrant 26-4 and 26-PW4. Can I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Second, aye.
Second, aye.
That's an aye. And approval of the minutes from August 4th, 2025 regular meeting. Can I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I have a question on that. Was last meeting the meeting I had asked to have put on the agenda about Milo Way? Because I didn't see anything here in the notes on it. That's why I'm asking.
I referenced it under public comment because you had brought it up under public comment.
Okay.
It's just not posted.
I looked under Karen Norwell, so I didn't see it.
Oh, sure. And we do have a public hearing scheduled for the September 15th meeting to address that.
Okay. Okay. Go for the questions. Second, aye.
That's an aye. Okay, is there a representative here from National Grid? I don't see one.
Is he on
Okay,
Zoom?
Doesn't look like it.
Is Zoom working? Is Zoom
Zoom working?
is somebody coming in now?
Do you know, Paul, is Zoom working?
That's Alex walking in right now.
Oh, okay, I didn't see him.
I saw him. I don't know if there's anybody else.
It was way over by the car. So
It seems like we might be having technical issues because I was anticipating someone on Zoom.
Yeah, this is all I got. Essentially that.
We're getting situated, but no one's on Zoom right now. But they're fixing it right now.
anyway,
No one was on yet, but we're getting it back up right now. Yeah.
okay, nobody signed in.
Okay.
Maybe we should postpone that for later in the meeting.
Okay, we can go back to National Grid. We'll move on. Public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment at this time? Yes, stand up and identify yourself, please.
Sigliano, Susie Drive, event committee. We have 2 more concerts left. We've managed to get through 8 with great weather. And for CMRPC, I attended a a meeting and we have 13 hours of credit. I thought we weren't gonna have credit this year, but we have 13 hours. So keep that in mind if you need any work done by CMRPC.
Okay,
It was good news.
I was gonna say that's awesome news, and I think if, thank you for attending, because I think they're still doing, I'm not 100% sure, but I think some attendance at some meetings gets more credit also.
Yeah, so I got a notification that this particular meeting, you're gonna get credit. I'm like, okay, I'm signing on.
Thank you.
And we got an hour for it.
Was that the battery storage
Yeah.
thing? Thank you. And it was a Zoom one too, so
Yes.
thank you.
okay, anyone else for public comment? Yes,
I do. Hi, Amanda Ando, 2 Britnell. I sent an email to Tamika earlier today about a culvert in between 142 Palmagussit and 2 Britnell that we have requested to have DPW clean it out as stormwater is running down the hill and it's collecting in between the 2 properties. And DPW has informed us that that is on private property of 142 Britnell. I've sent pictures. It appears that it is not. I was hoping we could please get some assistance from the select board. Has anybody had the chance to review that email and the pictures and the?
I saw it quickly,
Okay.
so thank you for sending it. And I am not familiar with that particular spot, and I didn't have a chance today during the day to look at kind of the property lines and everything and see how other culverts are handled. I don't know if David has had a chance to talk to
I have a time today to do that.
Chris, but
Bring it down.
And my apologies for sending that late.
that's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sending it.
Yes,
We'll get you an answer.
sure. Will you folks follow up on that between now and next meeting, or will this be discussed at the next meeting?
Follow up between now and when it rains again. No, just kidding.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Public comment?
I just wanna, the Zoom link from the agenda is showing this, so if it's the agenda, it's not, they're not, does that make sense?
Yeah, we never changed the one that's on the agenda. So are they signed in under the right Zoom account? Because Leah just tried to use the one that's on the agenda and it's taking her to not to this.
I mean, I think, I'm just worried if National Grid is on.
That's what I'm thinking,
and-
because they always come on, so.
Through the chair,
Yes,
if I could just follow back with Amanda for a second while she's late. Is that culvert close to your house?
It is more close to 142.
Okay.
yeah, I know where it is. I just haven't been there within the last 3 weeks or so I don't know exactly what the whole situation is right today, but the last time I was down there, there was work being done in that area.
Sure. So they cleaned out and I'm sorry if I'm using the incorrect words, the culvert in front of 140. They did that maybe a month ago, and they drove right by 142 and kind of looked at the property and, scooted on out.
So you're saying the DPW has already cleaned out a culvert on Britnell, 140?
The one in front of 140,
Okay,
not the one in front of 142.
right, but that culvert is on Britnell. So they cleaned that one out, is what I'm trying to understand. No, we said, well, it's not town road, it's a private road, but yet the town cleaned out 140.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
From what I understand, the DPW has informed us that the culvert is on the property of 142. So it is the responsibility of the owners of 142 to clean out that culvert.
Okay.
That drains to, from what I understand, the sewer line.
Did I put that in?
I believe you did, Cleve.
May I speak, Mr. Chair?
Paul? Cleve,
May I
is that
speak?
thing you
Yes.
Yeah, is that something I put in? Does it go under the road? Or does it just go in front of the driveway?
I'm not sure.
Because if it goes under the road, it's obviously,
I believe it goes underneath the road. There is a pipe that goes underneath their driveway but that is not what we're speaking of. It is the drainage that's in the road directly next to the road.
So if it's drainage, it doesn't go to the sewer.
I don't know where it goes. I'm sorry. I don't know.
So I'm not familiar with which one it is, but I would think if it goes under the road, that it would probably belong to the town.
Yeah.
And if you folks do have the opportunity to review the pictures, it is completely covered in dirt, weeds. It's very, you can't even see that it's there anymore.
They're gonna keep trying.
Is it on the right or left side of the driveway?
If you are coming from the center of town down Palmagussit and Renewal is on the right, it is on the right-hand side.
Okay.
That's closer to Campbell, right?
Closer to Campbell,
Yeah.
the entrance,
It's on the other end.
the other end, where Palmagussit and Renewal meet.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah.
If it's on the property, it's private. If it goes across the road, it probably isn't. If the town's telling you, the DPW is telling you it's on private property, then it's probably on private property. They're not even allowed to go clean.
The form that DPW sent us, we're not experts in this. We're having a difficult time actually understanding this. We feel as though DPW is saying not our problem, where I would like proper documentation that shows that this is in fact on the property. Where if it is private property, fine, I understand that. But if it is town property, it does need to be taken care of, please. So I'm looking for some help with that, because we're kind of hitting a wall with DPW.
Is that impacting your property with the clock like that?
Currently, it is not affecting my property. My property sets up a little bit higher, but if you folks do have the opportunity to drive down, there is a lot of erosion that's been happening where the tree, where my property is, it goes down on a slope, there's the wall, and then that is town property. On town property, we're seeing a lot of erosion. It's been happening for years. That's nothing that's new, but some of the roots are starting to stick out as well. I don't know if that drainage is affecting it. I'm not a drainage expert.
I know where you are now.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tamika, do you have an email or something for National Grid? Do you want to email? And do you want me to do it, or you have it on your phone?
Okay, I have it in my.
Just to let them know.
I can do that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a good idea.
I don't think it's us. I think it's something with Zoom right now.
Amanda, sorry, while you're here, just in a holding pattern, sorry if I missed this. How long have this culvert hasn't been addressed at all since you've lived there? Is that,
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, from your pictures, you can't even really tell where the culvert is.
And I could be gravely mistaken, there may not even be a culvert at all, but when we contacted the DPW informed us there was a culvert there. So unless there's been a vast, significant, breakdown in communication, there may not be anything there, but we were under the impression there was.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, we're on.
Okay.
Just, oh, Evan's on from NG.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else here for public comment?
I do, Mr. Mattson, if you don't mind. I had a question for the select board, and I'm not sure if this is for you folks or for a different committee. We had the Prop 2.5 override last year, the year before, for discretionary funds to Wachusett Regional District, correct? Do we have a ledger or some record of what Wachusett has done with our $6 million?
Personally, I'm going to say I've never seen one.
Okay.
What do you mean a ledger of what they did with our six, like, what do you?
Like, where did that $6 million go? Did they hire more teachers? We're sending more kids from our town and we need to give more money. Like, where is that money going?
So they do provide us a budget by line item, well, general line item every year, and you can see the increase year over year. So I mean, where our $6 million go, like where our dollars specifically go to, you would not be able to figure that out, right? But where you can see the increases from year over year, that makes up the difference.
Is there a place where I could find that budget? Is it just on Wachusett's website?
It's on our website.
Our website?
Yeah.
You can find the budget, but if you want detail, you're probably going to have to go to the Wachusett school committee or the superintendent to get a detailed layout of, and you can see, like, if there's teachers that are listed from NAQUAD, then you know if there's another one, how much it is. But that kind of detail we've never had access to.
Very good, thank you.
Recording stopped.
Yeah, on our website, if you go to Rutland Mass Budget, there's a budget website and there's a school budget tab on there, and I believe that has all of the fiscal years for WRSD in there.
Do we have representation from Rutland on the school board?
Yeah, they're elected, there's 3 elected officials. Okay. And if you go to the Wachusett website, the WRSD.net, under departments, there's a budget and finance, and they have, budget books and audit reports and prior audits and end of year reports.
Wonderful, that's what I'm looking for.
And there is, under the fiscal year 2026 draft budget under WRSD, there's a line item budget with literally has total administrator salary, total principal salary, all listed out for 24, 25, and 26. So it's line by line.
Thank you. I'm just trying to understand how local government works with who's responsible for what and where do I go for what. So thank you for explaining all of this. I appreciate it.
The regional school district budgets are cumbersome, and there's so many multiple pieces to it with the state funding formula, and as well as it's based on population, but also your proportion of students. So just because it's a 5-member town, but it's not split evenly by 5, right? It's different, and it's the total number of students and your proportion of students also. So there's a lot of pieces to it. So
I'm sure it's very complex.
yeah, but I mean, all of it is. So
Every budget is, every big budget is.
Okay. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, moving on, communications. Any member comments or announcements?
I just want to wish all the students and teachers and staff best of luck going back to school. Colleges and stuff are starting back, and other schools are starting back in the next couple of weeks, so good luck.
Yeah, I've been there, done that, so I know what you're talking about. But yeah, okay, so, anything else that, by way of announcements from the town or anything down the road? Okay. Town administrator update?
Okay. On Thursday, we opened the bids of 3 packages for the purchase of chemical chemicals, we're in the process, there were like 7 bids. Each bid proposal had the 7 or 8 categories. Some companies only bid one item, so we're in the process of tabulating those and determining who the successful bidder is in each of those different categories of chemicals. We didn't get a bid for the catch basin, which means we're either going to have to put it out to bid again. We had a lot of interest in it, but unfortunately, according to Chris, a lot of people don't do that kind of work anymore. And we did award a paving contract to a company from Holden. I don't have that name with me, but they're very close and they've done work in town before, so I can get that to you.
And that was for schools?
No, paving for the, you know how in chapter 90, you grind it down,
Yeah.
you do the layover and
Okay.
that kind of thing. I had a consultation with DOER, Green Communities, regarding the municipal aggregation guidelines. One of the things that you have to do before you can actually put it out to bid is to talk to them about, you know, different things and what are considered best practices. Those best practices include, you know, finance new, clean water, energy facilities, fund an energy engineer and purchase voluntary energy certificates, RECs, which from my understanding, they don't, a lot of people don't do that. But this is one of the requirements that Good Energy has to meet to put the bid together and actually start the program for townwide electrical aggregation. So that part of that is done. I wanted to recognize the fire chief for all his help with the Glenwood School and the replacement, boiler replacement, and all his help. And the same thing with Mark, you know, they both, you know, reacted very quickly. We were able to go through we'll get 3 bids. I believe Botus was the successful bidder, and I believe the work is being done. We get a letter from FEMA, which I will forward on to the board, but basically they're in the process of reviewing the maps, preliminary copies of the maps for insurance. There have been changes to some of the floodplains. You know, they have different strata for that, 10, 50, or 100-year storms. And they then recalibrate the maps based upon the frequency of those storms in a certain number of years. They're looking to us to help them schedule a formal community coordination meeting. I suggested that maybe Delia should handle that as a planner, and basically circulate the information that was provided by FEMA, not only to the board and town departments, but also, you know, have a way to have residents, you know, there is also an appeal period if you're one of those properties that are affected by the change in the map. Obviously, it can be a significant change in the cost of your insurance because floodplains are, the insurance of the floodplains are different from regular homeowners insurance. But I'll be working on that over the next few weeks, and they're supposed to contact us first, and then we'll coordinate with them to get that done. And I got a letter also today, well, actually came in Thursday, but the Deputy Fire Chief Quinn and Mike Moriarty came in, and I get a letter from the Deputy Chief saying basically that he's supporting the relocation of the CMRECC, the Mass Regional Emergency Communication Center, from 240 Main Street to Wood Studio at 234 Main Street. They were asking me for the approval. I don't know if the board has any plans for that building, so I wasn't gonna say, yes, go ahead and do it until, you know, I had some feedback from the decision makers that basically control that property. So if that's something we wanna put on a future agenda and discuss, have them in, tell them what their plans are, other than the fact that they're working, I guess, one of the individuals is I believe it's Mike, is working, basically, oh, no, okay, it's not Mike, allow me, deputy chief transition from my current desk is in a shared common area. And they're looking to relocate to the Wood Studio. So I can get more information on that and also put it on for a future agenda if that's what the board is going to
Send a
decide.
copy of that to us, Dave.
Sorry?
A copy of
I
that.
can show it to you. This is a letter that came in if anybody wants to take a look at
I
it.
could just clarify, they're proposing to move, Director Moriarty and Deputy Director, DeFoss's office to the Wood Studio because they're going to be accepting the town of Spencer soon, and they will need the space that Liz is currently using to set up
And
stations for them. There was a letter attached, and so they detailed all of those things, so, and in turn, that would create a space for, Deputy Director Quinn to have an office as well. He doesn't
So-
currently have one.
They're gonna move the Moriarty and deputy director, those two positions that are there now, they're gonna move those out of there to the Wood Studio so they can free up more space for people who wanna come in from Spencer, who are part of that.
Correct, to set up more dispatch stations,
Set up
because
more
Mike and Liz
dispatch
don't work the desk. They're just I don't wanna say just administrative, because I don't need to diminish it. But yes, to allow space so that they can hire more dispatchers to service the additional town coming on.
And I think we ought to put that on for
yeah.
future.
My understanding is that only one group uses it, and only once it's historical.
Yeah, our historical commission uses it maybe once or twice a month. But I manage the reservations for the Wood Studio, and it's very, very rare that we have a group that uses it.
We can coordinate something so they can come here, that would be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably adequate for what they wanna do, but, the infrastructure setup, is everything there? What do they need? What are the costs to do all
Once
that?
again, that's why you.
That's what I wanna talk to,
Yeah.
schedule for future agenda.
Exactly.
That's all I have.
If I have a question, David, you might not know the answer, because I think when, Good Energy was on the call for our last meeting, they kind of alluded, they didn't necessarily have a timeline for when, the electric aggregation would kick in.
I haven't gotten anything since.
I've had a few people reach out just because they may be in existing contracts with third suppliers now that are expiring, in the foreseeable future, and they need to know if they need to renew, and potentially look at a shorter contract if they want to have the option to go with Good Energy. And I don't remember, I think on the call they said they kind of try to track the
I think it's in
pricing and
the spring,
everything
it's in the
also.
spring, they're looking at spring, because the DPU, gives National Grid, an opportunity to change rates twice a year, so I think they try to time that with when,
Yeah, I just didn't know if, and I knew that the DOER, meeting was coming up, I couldn't remember when, so I didn't know if any,
I can follow up.
thank you.
My comments exactly as what's the timeline for when the town it'll be available for the town
Yeah, I want to say it's next spring for some reason.
next spring.
Maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe we're getting confused with the trash falling. Both of them are on sort of like a parallel track with each other.
But it won't
I can
be-
find
It
out,
won't be in the next couple of months.
probably not.
All right. Okay.
The whole process of going out to bid for the aggregation is a little bit more complex, given the regulations, that the state
Yeah,
has.
the equipment is gonna be moved and
Okay.
Thank you.
lines that have to be placed across.
Excuse me, could I just ask one question?
Okay.
Hi, Evan. Paul, Evan, you didn't miss it. We were having Zoom problems at the beginning. Thank you for staying on.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I saw the order that you guys had the minutes set up, so I just was not too sure if you had gotten to that portion of the meeting yet. My apologies.
Anything else?
No.
All set? Okay. Okay, moving on to appointments and
Oh, can we go back to National Grid then?
Yeah.
Cause Evan is here for National Grid.
okay. Oh, all right.
Can we take them on order now and go
Yeah,
back?
we can take that, we can go back to that. Your poll hearing for 6 o'clock, okay. Yes, Evan, go ahead.
I'm just representing National Grid and the petition to place 2 poles in the right of way on Molten Mill Road to provide power to a citizen of your town. And yeah, we were just seeing if we could get approval to set the 2 poles in the right of way.
If I may, I have a question. Evan,
Of course.
Leah Whiteman, one of the select board members. These are single poles, they're not, they don't have a guide wire, guide pole or anything?
So they do have a guy wire.
Okay.
The guy wires will not be in the right of way. They will be placed on. One will be placed on the property of. Let me just get the map up.
I see that.
Yep, 73 Palmagussit Road. That individual has signed an easement with us, so he is aware of the guy wire being placed in his property. The other guy wire is in an interesting position because it technically is on DCR property. So the customer who's having the work done is having to reach out to the DCR themselves to see if they can get the easement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it went through Chris and at DPW Director Kowalski, and it said that he approves of them. If the resident is asking for the poles and is okay with the guide wire and everything.
Through the chair?
Yes.
Evan, I'm looking at the diagram and it says pole 30-3 is actually on 73 Palmagussit Road. It's not on the 5 Molten Mill Road property. Are those, do they have to run, that's what you're talking about, DCR running lines from that pole to their property?
So Molten Mill Road is a public road as far as I understand it to be. So pole 30-1 and pole 30-3, because they're only placed 4 feet off of the curb as requested in an email I received a couple days ago, that should be placing the poles in the right of way. And that the right of way's jurisdiction is the jurisdiction of the town itself. Hence why we're petitioning for the poles today.
But I guess I'm curious, why wasn't the pole located on the property of 5 Molten Mill Road, which is what power?
So the petition sketch that we provided just provided the necessary information for the petition. There is a pole, and there is a minimum of 1 pole being placed on 5 Molten Mill Road. But to get there, we need to drop poles in between because the distance is too great from the main road, which is pole 30.
Am I saying that right?
So there is a pole on the property of 5 Molten Mill Road, I think. You're staticky, Evan, sorry, we're having a little bit of a tough time. I think we're having some technical issues.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No. So I think there is a pole on the 5 Molten Mill Road property, but it's not in the right of way, so we don't have any jurisdiction over it. It's because these are still within they're not in the road, but they're still within that 4 feet or whatever that the town has. So that's why.
Well, my concern is, are the electricity being run from here to here, or from that pole to here?
I think, Evan, I believe if I understood correctly, there will be another pole or multiple on 5 Molten Mill Road property before it goes to the residents, correct?
Correct, and your explanation was because we are going from pole 30 down to 5 Molten Mill Road because that is the shortest route to get power to that property.
Okay.
Thank you. And then I think pole 30 is the one that's on DCR property. Working with.
Yep. Okay.
suggestions for National Grid?
No, I'm fine.
Entertain a motion to approve the,
We need to
Pause,
close.
we gotta close the hearing first.
Hmm?
We need a motion to close the hearing first.
oh, that's true.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, second aye.
Wait a minute.
That's an aye.
Then I would, if there's no other conversation, I don't know,
Okay,
one motion.
Yeah. Vote to approve.
I would move to approve the petition of National Grid on Molten Mill Road as presented and proposed.
all in favor, roll call.
All right. Second aye.
Wait a minute.
That's an aye.
Thanks, Evan.
Super, thank you so much. Sorry for the inconvenience, everyone.
Oh,
No, you're fine. Thank you.
Okay. Going down to appointments and resignations. Conservation Committee letter of interest from Mary Hunt. Mary Hunt is here. And do we have anyone who have any questions for Mary?
This is to fulfill the one, I know it's in our packet, but to fulfill the one-year term, until next round of appointments by, Skip's resignation, correct? Thank you.
Mary, I have just a question, if I may. You have a passion for conservation and wildlife. I think I know what conservation is, and I certainly know what wildlife is. But how do you see yourself on the Conservation Commission, should you be appointed, dealing with issues of conservation and wildlife? Because that's a very, very broad committee that, you know, gets into wetlands as well as building stuff and all that thing. So how do you see yourself being valuable to that committee?
I would say I'm more valuable to the committee as a resident of Rutland, and just wanting to see, like, our town, I feel like has grown up a lot, right? I've been here for 15 years. My husband's been here for 40 plus, well, he's not 40, but his family's been here for 40 plus years. And just with all the growth, I would like to see it sustainable. I think it benefits all of us to have, you know, clean drinking water and all of that. So I think in my letter of interest, it was just like a side note of this whole area is a passion of mine. And so I just am interested in being a part of that. I think that all starts at the local level, right? So this opportunity came to me and it felt like a really good fit to be a part of that.
Okay. Are you currently knowledgeable on all of the Mass General laws or some of the Mass General laws regarding what you can and can't do as a conservation committee?
No, I'm not currently
So
knowledgeable.
that'll be a big task for you.
Yes, I'm being told there's some training I can do, so I'm looking forward to that.
As much as I love conservation and do believe in it, I think that every committee or every board has a set of laws that they have to live within. But if they have suggestions of what they think they might want to see, that's a different story. But I encourage all committees to really stick to the law, the bylaws, the general laws, the town laws, MGL, in order to perform their duty. So that's why I asked you that question.
Any other questions for Mary? Okay. Entertain a motion to appoint Mary Hunt to, pardon me, to the Conservation Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
All right. Second aye.
Wait a minute.
That's an aye.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And you'll need to get sworn in at town hall with either Ben or Anita, before you can
Yeah.
officially participate. with the learning all the things.
Okay, we have a letter of interest for Planning Board Bylaw Subcommittee from Amanda Andrew.
That is I.
Ando,
Ando.
okay,
Oh, you're Amanda. Okay.
and any questions for Amanda?
If I, through the chair,
Yes?
if I might, bylaws are a very unique kind of committee, whether it's general or subcommittee, whatever. Obviously, you must have an interest in the law or really in fine tuning or picking things, you know what I'm saying? Is that your general reason for sitting on there? And do you have experience dealing with bylaws and stuff in the past, Amanda?
Bylaws, no. However, in my professional world, it's all about rules and regulations. I work in healthcare, and it has been my responsibility since COVID to interpret laws, to look at these big, huge laws and nitpick line by line what it means in relation to healthcare. So I am familiar with reviewing cumbersome guidelines, regulations, and applying it to my patients, my population, where I find that is very transferable skills from my work life to this. I've lived in town for 5 years now. I've been coming to the majority of the planning board meetings. I noticed that there was this open position. I feel that I would be a good support and a good addition to the team. And I'm sorry, you asked a very specific question. I feel like I kind of scooted around
That's
it.
okay, you're answering.
You were saying that this is a very small, subcommittee and very specific laws. I would like to start off small. I don't think I'm ready to dive into, bigger committees, but I think this would be a good starting point to start off in local government.
I don't mean it's a small position. What I mean is the bylaw subcommittee relates to the planning board
Yes.
bylaws. So it's not general bylaws for the whole town.
Correct.
So that's very specific.
Yes. However, they are very important.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay,
I would move to appoint Amanda Ando to the planning board bylaw subcommittee to serve for a 3-year term.
Second.
roll call,
All right.
And I,
And I,
Nance and I. Congratulations.
Thank you.
thank you. And same, you have to get sworn in with the meter, Ben.
Sure.
Clerk's office.
Do we just reach out to them, give them an email? How does that work?
You can stop in during business hours, and if it doesn't work, like if your work schedule or whatever, you can email them, and generally they can try to meet you outside of business hours if it doesn't work for.
They're usually pretty flexible
Sure. Thank you.
when it comes to those type of things. Okay, we have Nancy Seckman applying for the Cultural Council. And good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fabulous.
Good. What can I say? Is there anyone that has a question for, I'm sorry. Is there anyone that has any questions for Nancy? You served on the Cultural Council previously, haven't you not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so, if there are no questions, then I will entertain a motion to appoint.
I move to appoint Nancy Seckman to the Cultural Council to serve for a 3-year term.
Second.
Roll call.
All right.
Second abstains.
Whitman, I.
Mattson, aye.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you need to get sworn in because
Are you sure?
it's good to see you out and about too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to old business. 2027 budget objectives.
Paul, since this might be a lengthy discussion. Would you be amenable to taking Clee's street acceptance request out of order?
Well, I was just thinking that myself, rather before we get into a discussion about that. If you don't find, if there's anybody that has an objection or whatever, I'd like to go down to street acceptance requests.
Okay with that. Through the chair.
Yes.
Tamika, this has been run through every individual in the world and blessed by the Pope.
Nearly. So, we are the first stop on the track to street acceptance. So town council has reviewed the document. They've, provided us with all the documentation we need to move forward. So the first step in the process is for the board to lay it out tonight, and then we refer it to the planning board so that they can engage the third-party review for street acceptance.
We did one of these back in the spring.
Yeah.
That it's just like the first step in the process for anything to move forward, for town to have eyes on it, because it has to happen. So we don't know anything official until this process happens.
Mr. Blair, would you like to say anything?
Well, it's just the same as what we went through in the spring. I mean,
yeah.
In order for me to actually get anything going, it has to start here. So, as long as you lay out the streets, and it doesn't mean putting it on the warrant, it doesn't mean anything like that. It just means you're starting the process. If the planning board comes back and says don't do it, you just don't do it, you know. But it's pretty simple tonight.
Thank you.
So I move that the select board vote its intention to lay out Lindsay Way, formerly known as Lemon Circle, as a public way, all as shown on a plan entitled, quote, Amended Definitive Plan, Brice Lemon Estates, Rutland, Massachusetts, end quote, dated March 28th, 2014, prepared by James B. Collick, PLS and PE, recorded with the Worcester Southern District Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 913, Plan 67, and to forward this vote and the plan to the planning board for its comments and recommendations pursuant to General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81G and 81I.
If I may, it's Lindsay Lane, not Lindsay Way.
Oh, Lindsay Lane.
Yes.
It does say Lane.
Typo.
No, it says Lane here.
Okay.
Sorry, I just misread. Thank you for catching up.
Second.
Pardon me, roll call, all in favor?
No, aye. Second, aye.
Matt and I.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a good evening. Okay. Going back to budget objectives for 2027. Had a chance to look over information we received, and does anyone have any comments or questions about it? Any thoughts about it?
So, if I may, I guess the way this reads is simply just, we only are caring about what departments are going to want to get back to the fiscal year 25, and then the increase associated with that, not kind of a more holistic, restorative, longer term, longer lasting. Essentially, I'm reading this as it's going to be essentially a 1-year fix again. And without any consideration to restore or conversation to restore any of the funds that were used, the one-time funds, whether from stabilization, OPEB, also. Is that correct? Is that my understanding?
It was prepared by Jen, right?
Yeah, so if I may, in my conversations with Jen, her intention was to get back what was cut in FY '25, plus to understand what the departments need to get through FY '26 and beyond, knowing that the budget that's gonna be brought forward will likely be, through an override. So to make the most of that, I guess is the best way to describe it.
So this is, if I may, so this is really asking them for kind of both. How do we restore and then how do we move forward? And then that's going to be brought to the board and the finance committee for discussion. And then evaluation is whether you keep it, discount it, or whatever we do. So we're asking them for those two items. I would, I guess it does say here, well, a focus on delivering essential services as efficiently as possible. Explore innovative solutions to improve or enhance services without increasing costs. So I don't want to make this a wish list. I want to make this a function list. I'm going to say that. It says, how do we get back to doing our job the best way possible without going overboard on what we're going to ask for? I guess is what I hope that's the way we get it done, or it reads for the committees or the departments and stuff. Other than that, I don't.
Well, okay, when you say overboard, are you talking a bigger percentage of something or what?
No, I think most department heads, most committees or understand their job. They understand what they need. And I want them to be respectful of what they're asking for so that we can present what we think is a great budget, well done, to the town with the best possibility of it getting passed. I guess that's what I'm asking of them. So that we don't have to look through it hard, be the hard guys, make so many cuts or anything. We gotta leave it up to them, kind of.
The department heads need to be responsible for putting together a reasonable budget.
Right.
Well, yeah.
That's the expectation every year, regardless.
Yeah.
But I think also, well, yeah.
I mean, they're gonna provide a lot of documents and their reasons for the increase and that stuff, so they'll give us, I think, a lot more. Jan, I'll say, did a great job, because I think it'll give us a lot more information, hopefully, to make better informed decisions as we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, after going this year where they had reduced operation budget lines, it should give a good indication of what they really need to do their job. Having cut budget lines and having to operate on a lower budget all year long and figure out how to do the same job theoretically with that lower amount of money, it should be creating a creative environment, hopefully, of how to get that done. So
right.
Hopefully it breeds new ideas on how to do things, not necessarily on those lower budgets, but how to do more with less. And then if we can give them a little bit more money to do it even better, hopefully that's the kind of drive we need to see.
Yeah,
I think, oh, go ahead.
No,
No.
I think what we're seeing in the district right now is not a flavor for passing overrides. And if we're going to justify an override, we need them to justify a realistic budget that they can live with and do their job, so that we can do a good job of presenting that to the town and answer the questions they're going to be asking us. So what are we looking for in this? Just our comments? we gonna be sending this out, we want approval on it, what are we gonna do?
Yes, so we, at the last meeting, you authorized us to transmit this to the finance committee. So they're gonna be talking about it this Thursday at their meeting.
Okay.
So Jen's hope was for the two of you at your joint meeting on the 2nd to hopefully adopt it, for us to make changes between now and then adopt it and have David disseminate it to the department heads.
Okay, yeah, I'd be interested in their comments on this.
Timing that to the department head meeting so that we can all receive the same message.
I do have a question down here though. On, where did I see this on the timeline?
It's on the back of this.
There was another,
That's a special,
oh,
that's something else.
okay, yeah, it was,
Oh, the budget, sorry.
yeah, no, it was,
The back of it is.
had to do with March. Where did I see that? Oh, the select board in fact will hold budget hearings in February and March. We sure those dates are close enough, or are they pretty far out that we'll get the budget done? I guess I'm trying to figure out getting the stuff and then getting it back. And if we start holding our hearings in February, March, is that too late?
I think that's usually when we try to hold them, in February and March. Last year it was delayed because the board was indecisive about the direction of the budget, but generally, I think historically, we've tried to do them in February and March, so that way there's back and forth. We won't have state numbers realized by that point, but we will have the governor's budget, and go from there.
Okay, I asked the question because, I want to see what finance says about that too, but.
Yeah, I would agree. It does seem like it's a little late. I mean, I think
I'd like to start in January if possible, but.
There was a lot of conversation around bringing up the timeline in the last 6 months. So I do feel as though this is a good opportunity to look at bringing up the timeline.
Yeah, and I don't remember when the governor's budget is usually released. Is it March? Steven, do you remember?
I believe it is, yes.
So, I mean, that's obviously, our state aid doesn't change usually that significantly on that side of things. So, if, I mean,
by November, we'll pretty much have all the numbers we need.
Absolutely.
For us.
I think the biggest challenge is that historically we don't get the school budget until March, so we work through all of our numbers in our budget hearings and then we end up having to change things. I know we had talked about getting it sooner, but historically we've not been successful until March.
Yeah, I guess that I'd look and say, well, we pretty much have an idea of what they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna decrease their inflation rate.
I mean, they had pretty much said that they were, their hope was to level fund plus 1% for the, I believe, 3 years, last year and another 2. Is that, do you remember that, Alex?
I don't think it was that many years. I think it was. I do believe that that's what they're happen this year, but then we also need to take into account what the state funding formula will be, and that's the only kind of question mark of what that'll be.
Right.
But we could assume that it'll be the same increase year over year, plus, probably 3 to 5% in that range. So I would think that we could probably guesstimate some of those numbers and come up with pretty accurate estimations.
I'm just thinking of getting started earlier. If we're only missing.
Especially if we're going to need to, sorry to interrupt you, especially if we're going to need override and provide education opportunities for that also.
The way I'm looking at it is, we know we have to run the town. So we have our budget, we know what our revenues are, we're gonna run the town. And if we need an override, it's there. But if we have to, if the school budget comes in, then that school budget gets added to any override. It's not like we have to figure out how much revenue or where we're gonna get it from the school budget. So I see that as an ancillary piece, that if we get the town done, we figure out what the town needs to run, then when the school comes in, that gets added to the.
Yeah, the conversation with, and this was always brought up, in the finance committee as well, that we need to show what will happen if an override doesn't pass, and we wouldn't necessarily, if we don't have the school information or what that number is from the school, we wouldn't be able to show, if the school budget passes, but our override doesn't, then we have to cut, X millions out of the ops budget, which is theoretically undoable.
Right, but I mean, I agree with you. I just don't see that we have to wait to start working on the town's budget, the school budget.
100%.
That's all.
Yep.
I met with one department head last week. I'm gonna meet with another one tomorrow. I'm gonna go down the line, meeting with the department heads to find out just what their thinking is.
Yeah.
Okay? What they're looking at, what they're projecting, so. It'll give me a decent idea anyways.
You're meeting with department heads to do what?
Find out what they're thinking, what their projection is, what they're looking at, where they wanna go. What do they have in mind, okay? It's a matter of finding out what their ideas are, what their thoughts are, what their thinking is.
Isn't that the point of the budget hearings? Isn't that us getting too into the weeds of the?
Well, it is, but I'm looking at it from my own point of view. In other words, okay, so I'm definitely interested in finding out what they're thinking. In other words, I've had a couple of people already come up and tell me, oh, this really needs to change, that needs to change. I mean, these are the things that people are looking at, and what the department heads are seeing. May not be all that palatable to them, and so not that we're going to do anything magical or anything else like that. I don't see it, but I'm just curious to find out what their thinking is and what they're looking at, where they are right now, and that's just basically a simple projection on their part. It may not be actual, it may not be real, but I'm going to find out for myself anyway, just what these people are thinking about and what they want to look at. Whether or not we can ever get there, that's a whole other story. But at any rate, I'm curious to find out for myself what all these facts and figures come down to as far as they're concerned.
I think that's overstepping as a single person on this board. That should be done as a combined board, and we should not be individually going to department heads. That is overstepping the town administrator role. You're taking the time out of the day of the department head to have those meetings with them. I don't see that as a good thing.
As I mentioned right up front, it's not doing anything that's going to change things. I just want to find out what they look at, what their annual things are that they're looking to do. It's a curiosity question to some degree, and I'm, interested in where they stand.
But I think, I agree with you, Alex, in the sense of, I think that's essentially what this process is doing, is asking the department heads to work with the town administrator, to put together their plans to then be disseminated to us, as select board and as FinCom, I believe, by the beginning of October. It seems like first there'll be a proposed annual budget summit, and into November, kind of budget requests are being submitted and everything. We start those conversations next month, as a group efficiently through department head meetings and the town administrator, and then as 5-member board and FinCom, so we're all hearing the same information at the same time. And as things change, trying to develop a budget in August when you're a month and a half into your fiscal year is tough. It's going to be fluid, and we just all need to hear that also.
I agree. I think there's justification on both sides. I understand that, we don't want to bother the department heads, but I think if the department head has the time and the willingness to spend 3 to 5 minutes just saying, well, I've been thinking about this and this, I don't think any board member has the justification to say another board member can't talk to a department. So I agree that we don't want to take their time. I also think that a board member has the right to do that and talk to a department if they wish. We're not overseeing them. We're not telling them what to do. We're just, if they feel they have the time to talk to a board member, great.
I don't, but if we ask a department head to talk to us, they're never gonna say no, whether they have the time or not. They're just not gonna do it.
Well, I'm not sure. It's not been my experience in some departments in the past.
I'm good, glad for that.
You know, because you gotta respect their time. But that's just my feeling. I'm not saying that Paul should or shouldn't. What I'm saying is that's up to the discretion of each board member to do that.
That's going to be part of the department head meeting too. Is, my hope, I was more concerned about the special town meeting and free cash getting certified. And usually when that happens, everybody's going to say, oh, I get X amount of dollars. I was hoping that part of it would, with the roundtable discussion, have everybody say, you know, I'm going to put an article in and this is what it's going to be. But give us a heads up. So
right.
We're now looking, we can track the numbers, we can track, you know, non-monetary items. We already have a list going between Tamika and I. So.
And hopefully this will be a little different approach this year in doing the budget. A little bit more transparency to the departments and to the committees.
Well, I guess final thoughts on that. I would strongly urge that all members of the select board let David and our town administrator role work with the department heads to go through the budget process as we've requested as a board and submit to us the budgets when they are completed in full. That's my request.
Okay.
Well, there's been a couple of them that have come forward to me on their own volition. That have wanted to talk about something, okay?
I would like to just say that I hear, especially as a member, I hear everybody's comments, and I'd like to move this forward. Just keep the meeting going.
That's fine.
So David, can you just ask for clarification if the intent is, if there's any consideration to restore the, work towards restoring the accounts that were, utilized, the stabilizations and OPEBs and stuff? If, I would assume only if it were like an override or something, to get us back. I'm not sure where they stand off the top of my head and how that may or may not impact our, bond rating or not. So, and maybe that can be done through free cash. I'm not sure what free cash is looking like either, but you know, then there might be less, if it's restored through free cash, then there would be less free cash elsewhere. You know, it's right. So I don't. Thank you. You don't need a motion or anything, right? It was just a conversation.
I don't think so, not
that.
till the next meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I think the purpose was just to get some general discussion going on
Okay.
the process.
Yeah.
So everybody could agree on specifically what's going to transpire as we head into the budget season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on, special town meeting calendar.
Yep.
So our the bylaws dictate when the special town meeting is, so this probably, I assume, just is back counting from that with everything and hoping that free cash will be certified, by the end of October, beginning of November. And that's pretty much what it is.
That's pretty much it. And just noting the timelines for like public hearings that we have to hold for the street acceptance requests. We did ask at the last finance committee meeting if they were available on October 23rd for that joint meeting, and they confirmed that they are available. And I've also also confirmed with the new principal of Glenwood that we have the space reserved for November 20th.
Thank you.
So we're good to go.
And planning board is aware of this also, or will be made aware of it just for the timeline for, posting public hearings?
Yes. Yeah, Delia and I, we're in communication with each other and she's right on top of it. Yeah. They've actually already started getting engineering reports back on the street acceptance request that you guys had laid out back in April.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure whether it's, because there's possibly these public hearings for the street acceptances, and then if there's anything else that comes in, whether it's citizens petitions or, I'm not sure if they have any bylaws in the.
There's so many days that they have to act prior
Right.
to.
Right.
There's one they want us to put as a placeholder, but they're not certain if they're gonna have it ready for fall town meeting, so David and I have that noted on our list.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said, I just want to make sure because that was some of the hiccups, right, with missing public hearings and stuff.
Absolutely.
Last fall, so I just want to make sure that we have that handled.
Yes, we will make sure of that.
Thank you.
These budget hearing, department hearings, who worked up the schedule? What, just Jen?
You mean for the budget?
Yeah.
For
calendar?
the budget development schedule? Yeah.
Yes, Jen worked on those.
Okay, because I'm looking here, and we're looking at February 4th and 5th is Wednesday, Thursday, then the 12th and the 19th are separate weeks. But I don't see anything on a regular scheduled select board meeting.
So historically, the board hasn't had their budget meetings with departments during a regularly scheduled because it's usually joint with the finance committee, so they've typically been held on a Wednesday or a Thursday. But we did highlight on here what's taking place at the regularly scheduled select board meetings so that you can see.
Okay, because the last time we did this, we did it all basically in one night.
Yeah, and
So I
there
like
wasn't
the
great
format,
feedback from that.
but I'm curious as to how many are gonna show up on these nights. I mean, how many we've scheduled on these nights?
So
Like, are we doing 4 a night?
So it's gonna depend on the department, because some of our smaller departments will go much faster, usually public
The large
safety.
departments like DPW, police, fire, all of those will have their own night, so to speak.
Which is how we used to do it, and we have like a special calendar system that we use, and we send it out so that they can schedule and make sure it works for everybody, because the feedback that we heard was it was too cumbersome to try to do everybody on the same night, so there was kind of a consensus that people wanted to go back to separating it out, so I think that's why Jen took that approach.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to separate it. I mean, these seem like a lot of nights.
Right, but
I mean, I think we can find it, but this is tentative. So we don't have to meet it.
Have like a tree warden and, people like that, you do 5 of them.
Yeah, we often, I mean, some of the really small ones, we tend to not even.
Historical commission, they have 2 lines that never changes.
Yeah.
There's no point to bring them in, wasting their time and your time.
Yeah, I mean, we've always opened it and said everyone is welcome to come and tell us, what you want, what you need, all that stuff. So there's always an invite, but some people may choose, the smaller departments may choose that it's not worth it.
the only comment I'm gonna make about this is in regards to the CIPC. If indeed you can get all the departments' information in by the end of September so that they can be working on it fully October and November, because by the time you sit down with the budget hearing for the departments, we kind of need to know, because December 8th is when their report is going to be sent to us. We kind of got to know what they are recommending and what department it affects. So if we sit down, we can talk to the departments about that. So I think we need to make sure CPA gets it out, or you send it out, and that the departments get it back in time. We have always had an issue with that. I'll tell you, for 17 years, I'm lucky if I got them by the end of October, sometimes in November. So I would like us to really kind of pinpoint to make sure that those things come back to the committee so they can do their job right.
So I don't want to speak topic for Jen, but one thing that had come up in the conversation was that we had created a 5-year capital plan, and so potentially rather than having departments coming up with new capital ideas, potentially revisiting what's already been out there that we've not been able to fund or that hasn't been ranked yet by the CIPC. So rather than reinventing the wheel, kind of bringing back some stuff that hasn't made it there yet. I think that was her thought.
Okay. The only thing CIPC rates is this year's stuff. We don't rate anything. So last year we rated to 25, this year we're rating 26, 27. So a whole new set. And for example, the reason I say getting that stuff in is because when we talked with DPW, there were things on there that we thought he wanted. And because of the budget crunch, he said, no, I'm going to put this on instead. So now we have to evaluate that item. So I'm just being sensitive to CIPC so that they can do their full due diligence the way they need to do it. And then after this year, I won't say a thing.
So back to the special town meeting calendar. Do you want a motion, Paul? I move to approve the special town meeting calendar as presented and proposed.
Okay. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Roll call vote.
All right. Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
That's an aye. Okay. Moving on, we have a acceptance of a gift from Devereux School. Presented a gift of $45,000 to the town of Rutland and designate the gift toward the funding for the police department with the funds that are expended by and at the discretion of the chief of police. Okay. So
pursuant to MGL Chapter 44, Section 53A, I move to accept a gift of $45,000 from Devereux School to be expended at the discretion of the police chief.
second. Is there a second? Second. Roll call vote.
Discussion, please. What did they give us last year? Do you know? Was it 40 or 45?
I thought it was 42.
I thought it was 42 also, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad they built some inflation in then. Okay. Good.
Okay, roll call.
Aye. Second, aye.
Whitman, aye with
That's
appreciation.
an aye.
Was it 45 the year before?
What's that?
I think it was 45.
I don't know.
Stuff.
That'll be,
It's always
they
in
need to
that
build,
range.
they need to build this inflation on that one.
There was deflation last year.
Okay, moving on to the Charter Spectrum contract. This has been something that has consumed far too much time as far as I'm concerned. And after waiting almost 2 years for them to respond to me and getting nowhere, I finally went to Department of Telecommunications and Energy in Boston, and they jumped on it, and shortly thereafter, I received a contact from a charter representative in New Hampshire and another one down in Connecticut. And so we have gone to the point now of putting a contract together. And I guess the bigger point of this thing is we've been working with a 3% per annum figure from Spectrum to the Cable Committee, and that will be improved to 5%. Okay, so we will now be able to expand our operation a little bit, maybe do some more things or add some more programming or whatever to it as we go along. So that was one of the pluses. We were also looking to find out what type of statistics Charter would be able to give us on viewership. And we found out, okay, that they can do a certain amount of things with the channels, the broadcast channels that are out there. But as far as our channels like 191 192. They do not have the wherewithal at this point in time to be able to tell us how many people are watching what programs and so on and so forth. So, having been following the programs that appear on YouTube and seeing the comments and the number of views, I kind of get a half of an idea of who's watching what. And there are some of the more controversial, I'll use the word, programs that have appeared out there that have had quite a bit of viewership. And so, there's ways that we can come around and get these figures, but it's sometimes not as much of an idea as we'd like to get out of it, but we're getting there. So, so the contract as it stands here now, talking with Dave this afternoon, he had a question. I emailed the question to them to make sure that, everything was agreeable. And I didn't get an answer yet today, but I'm sure I'll get an answer either, probably by week's end, definitely. They're usually pretty good now. I don't think they were too happy with me going to DTE, but I was very patient, 2 years, and email, and then all of a sudden, emails started bouncing. And I said, no, that don't work out too well. So that was when I went to DTE, and they were very prompt. They came right to the point, and I heard from Spectrum right out the gate. So so we've been moving forward since then. And Spectrum came here, and they met with the committee and myself, and so we've had a good open discussion about the contract and where it is. Pretty much what Spectrum's idea of things in the future is, and they're expanding into the Hulu type market area, and so these things are going to be a little bit more readily available out of them as time progresses. They are currently, they're currently short some people that they really want to get the positions filled, and so so this is what they've got, this is what they've got to work with. So that's where it stands right now, and I don't know if anybody really has any questions on the contract as such.
It's a pretty standard contract, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is pretty
And
much
vetted, and it should still have a review by council, but I wouldn't, I'm sure they see this kind of contract all the time.
Yep.
Through the chair, I do have a question. Leah, did you have a question?
Go for your question, because
Under section 10 license fee, does the town collect 2 fees or just one? Because there are 2 separate fees here.
Yes.
We only collect one, so I guess it says, and you can collect a license fee equal to 50 cents per subscriber per year. The number of subscribers per person shall be calculated. So the town's going to get 50 cents per subscriber.
And which they add onto the bill, by the way, so.
But then the license shall not be liable for a total financial commitment pursuant to this renewal license in applicable law in excess of 5% of its gross annual revenue.
Right.
So we collect 50 cents apiece. But the number of subscribers at 50 cents goes over 5% of what the licensed gross annual revenue fee is, which is 5%. We don't collect over the 5% then.
We get the 5% as well, but
So we get 2 fees. We get the 50 cents per person fee, and does that get booked to the charter?
Yeah.
And then we get the 5% gross revenue too.
Right.
So we have 2 sources of revenue coming in.
That's right.
Subscriber fee isn't a big amount of money,
No, but
it's a licensing fee
Yeah. It is.
based on the gross revenues.
Yeah.
do we ever get a breakdown of that to see how much we get from both?
I
Would Donna have to be able to give you a breakdown?
No, there's not really any real breakdown as such. Okay, and so, you know, I've been with it long enough to realize that, all right, you know, knowing over the, let's go back a couple of years here as far as my head is going, but, okay, so then I'm paying attention and I start seeing more dish antennas on the roofs in town, okay? So that's telling me that people are not using Charter, all right? So Charter is now looking into making money on the internet, okay? So the number of subscribers, okay? Howsoever, the number of internet subscribers do not affect what cable television revenues are, okay?
The reason I'm questioning the 50 cents is, if it's not a lot of money, and we don't get a lot of money for it, why would we want to keep charging our citizens 50 cents a piece if we don't get a lot of money from it?
It could be office furniture they need, it could be a camera.
Yeah.
My guess is that Charter's gonna charge it, and
Well, I would hope
Spectrum's
not.
gonna charge it, and
So,
it's part of the
but-
agreement that 50 cents of, I don't know.
okay, I'm just,
50 cents a head, 50 cents a house,
right,
okay?
right.
And Paul is right, people are moving away from, you know, the traditional cable companies per se. Verizon has their own. It used to be Fios. Fios is very expensive to install. They moved towards an internet-based model, and T-Mobile's doing the same thing. So, you know, they're saying you can get your, you know, your quote unquote cable services just over the year through.
How much, I'm sorry, Dave. How much revenue do we get a year from cable, roughly?
It all goes into PEG access, it doesn't go into general fund.
No, I know.
It's not general. It's not. Yeah, you just can't.
Right, it goes into PEG access,
Average
right,
in the town, what they try to do.
Yeah, that's
Take the cable money.
right.
So we went from 4 to 5%,
Went from 3 to 5%.
3 to 5% in a time when they're losing subscriberships.
That's what they tell me. But the way in my own analysis of this, and it's probably as far off basis as possible, but at any rate, when I look at this, I say, okay, so in other words, let's just use the number 100. You got 100 subscribers, okay? That's today. Now, 6 months from now, maybe 20 of these people go to Hulu or some other service or something like that. Huh?
Google is a big one. Google's still
Well, yeah.
for the internet part of it.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that is not there. What I'm saying is, we're captive. The only place we have is Charter. So if our people can't get service properly, so we keep charging them, what can we do to make it better? What if we get I know the contract you negotiated already. I'm not trying. It's just that I'm concerned it's the only person out there and nobody else has applied, right, Paul? This is the only people that we have on an RFP for a contract.
No, 10 years ago, I sent letters of interest out to other services, okay? And not one of them answered me back.
Okay.
Okay? So then a friend of mine, if you will, in in Shrewsbury, deals with 2 cable systems in this town. One is Spectrum and the other one is Verizon, okay? So then, in other words, okay, so Verizon can do this much, and Spectrum, and Spectrum can do this much. So, you know, it's one of these things where, okay, the reason they were able to get 2 subscribers in was the fact that when it started, Verizon was in one part of town. And so they stayed there, and they've expanded a little bit, but not as much as they had hoped.
Well, they tied themselves to the fiber.
Right.
Then they have to dig
That also had something to do with it.
in the trench
we should start seeing full fiber according to Spectrum in this town beginning in September. All right, so in other words, we'll start seeing more fiber being run. It's been something that I've been pushing for some time, and it seems every time that I get someplace with their outreach person, the person moved on, I got promoted or something else, and we started in all over again, okay? So, it's,
Well, I think it's a decent contract. I just hope it works for the town of Rutland in terms of, that the citizens are okay. I mean, it still bugs me. We're taking 50 cents from each house.
well, like I say, it's always been 50 cents a household. And
That's in all of the contracts. That's not unique to Rutland. I mean, every single charter contract has the subscriber fee.
I mean, it acts like they're giving us something, but
They're not giving us
they're not giving us a thing. The citizens are, not them. Okay. All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Paul.
I have a couple, just make sure that on 13.3, the 5 is crossed out, but then it's 54% there, instead of 5%. It's red, but it reads like 54% instead of changing.
Yeah.
And just, is it pretty standard that, in today's day and age, I realized historically it was standard, but in today's day and age, David, do you know, is it pretty standard that these, cable contracts are still 10 years?
Yeah.
Because I feel like in 10 years, Harry, to your point, a lot,
Well, the technology is shifted, yeah.
this set of 10 years, the previous set of 10 years, a lot has changed, and I feel like this set could change even more, and so there's no,
At some point, they may be coming back to you because they're losing subscribers and they're looking for concessions.
right,
Yeah.
but it's still,
It's a bit of a safety belt to us too in that respect. So yes, when we're looking at this and trying to make up our minds where to go and what to do, I know for a fact that Charter does very regular upgrades to the systems here in town and other locations as well. Because I will probably get 3 or 4 phone calls every time that they do a modular change or a big upgrade from people who need help to get their systems back up and running, okay? So, yeah. So, okay, so I go out and get things up and running and we're in business again, But basically, this year has kind of been quiet. Last year, Charter was very active in upgrading their modules, changing their nodes around so that the streets were more in circumspect to each other. So, it's something that I felt last year they did a lot of work on, and a lot of the lines that I had drawn through my street directory were, they've changed, so I'm trying to get a new street directory, but apparently there's some issues with getting them printed, so okay, so.
Keep trying, Paul. Keep trying.
Never say die.
so it sounds like it's as good as it's gonna be, and
Yeah,
so
that's-
I move to approve the Charter Spectrum Agreement as written and to disseminate it with the correction, just the proofreading corrections, and disseminate it to the town council for further review.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Second, aye.
Whitman, aye.
Matt's and I. Thank you. We will wait to see what town council has to say. Usually they find some issues about something or another, and this would be my third contract. Yeah, I guess so. So, okay, so at any rate, this is where we are, this is where we're going, and so on and so forth. So, okay. So thank you all. Any future agenda requests that you would like to make?
what date did you say that's a mile away?
September 15th.
September 15th. Okay. No, but I'm gonna write a letter about questions. Yeah. Okay. I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
All in favor? Roll call.
Second, I.
women,
Matt's and I. Thank you very much, everybody.